With the last commentary, I went over some of the aspects implemented by DICE for Battlefield 1 that I liked coming from Battlefield 4. In this video, I'd like to go over some of the aspects that I dislike about Battlefield 1 and that I hope that DICE will adjust for their next title. A few of these may have been mentioned slightly in the first video, but who cares? Anyway, the first aspect is suppression. I cannot stand the suppression in this game. Now, a brief history of suppression. Bad Company 2, they didn't really have suppression as much as if you were shot by an enemy, your character would flinch. Now, this was something that you could overcome and aim through, unlike the suppression on Battlefield 1. Going into Battlefield 3, they had suppression, but it was almost non-existent. They had to buff it after a couple of patches, and then they ended up nerfing it again because it was just way too much at the time. Going back into Battlefield 4, they had suppression once again, and they had to adjust it over the lifespan of the game. Why they can't just figure out where they want suppression and get it in a good spot is beyond me. Part of the problem I have with it is the bullet deviation that is created once you are suppressed. With this next clip, I'll give an example of what I mean. I get revived, I shoot a few flares, and then I go over this hill while being suppressed and miss 2 shots with the guy not too far away from me. Now here's a couple of screenshots from the second shot I took. This is roughly where I shot while I was aiming. I'm on the guy's hip, and that is where the round ends up going. Of course, nowhere really near where I was aiming, and this guy isn't very far away. Now you can see the problem if the person is 40 or 50 meters away or so. I personally would be more okay with suppression if it didn't take away from the mechanical skill of the game. Basically, I've gotten headshots before on people while being suppressed, and I wasn't even aiming at their head. It was just luck because of the suppression, and it felt like a really cheap kill. Now, if they could get rid of the bullet deviation and add in some things where the scope sway and the blurring of the screen, those are things that you could overcome. That would be one thing. However, the bullet deviation is a bit difficult to overcome, which is the main reason that I dislike the suppression in Battlefield 1. Another aspect that I dislike about Battlefield 1 is the reliance on Origin in-game. I personally cannot stand Origin, and I don't think I've talked to anyone yet who has anything positive to say about Origin being implemented in any of the games that they've played. Trying to play with my friends can be a major pain at times. It's hard to find open servers if there's 3 or 4 of us playing together, which means that a few of us will have to wait in the queue. Now, the thing I've noticed is that the majority of the time, I'll join a match, and it won't put my friends in the queue until I've actually gotten in the match. So if I'm in the queue, they may not even be in the queue yet until once I load into the game. For example, there was one time it was just me and one other friend playing. I was in the queue, I was 1 or 2, I finally got into the game, and by the time I put them in the queue, there were 5 or 6 in the queue. And it just really makes it an inconvenient way to try to play with friends. I would prefer if they went a direction like Blizzard has done with their Battle.net, because when I play Overwatch, I can pull it up from Battle.net, but I don't have to rely on Battle.net once I'm into the UI of the game. Now I can send friends invites, I can talk to my friends through the in-game, I can add people through the in-game. I don't have to rely on Battle.net at all. And that's what I would prefer to see in the next Battlefield title. I don't want to have to rely on Origin in order to play a game, especially with my friends. The last aspect I want to talk about is the gun mechanics themselves in Battlefield 1. There seems to be considerably less skill gap for the weapons overall, and that's something that I dislike. In Battlefield 4, there was considerably more gun skill involved. You could change the attachments to better suit your playstyle with that particular weapon, which I hope they end up bringing back, and supposedly they are going to be bringing back for the next Battlefield game. In Battlefield 4, my overall accuracy was low 20%. It was 20 to 22% area. Now, with some of the weapons, I had 25 to 27% weapon accuracy, and I still felt like I wasn't top-notch with those weapons. Yeah, I could get a decent amount of kills with them, I could get a decent amount of kills per minute with them, but overall, my accuracy could have been a little better in terms of aiming for the head more often. Some of the weapons of Battlefield 1, it's just not possible with how the weapons are set up. Anyways, those were some of the aspects that really have stuck out to me throughout the life of Battlefield 1 that I hope that DICE really changes going on into the future with their new games. So with that being said, feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know what aspects you would like to see changed going into future Battlefield games. I hope you guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID out.